So I wasn't actually going to make a video today, but after my experience on the public transport here in Palma, I feel that this video has to be made. And it does actually go against my advice slightly, which I gave in my Mallorca in May video, where I'm advising for you guys to please use the public transport system. Now, I've come from Calamayor, which is just a couple of kilometres here across the coast. I came into Palma today to meet a friend for lunch, and the experience I had was not fantastic. And actually, I was pretty surprised by it too. As we came along on the number 4 bus past the shopping centre, there was a huge, massive crowd of people waiting at the bus stop. And then I realised who these people were. And they were part of the 24,000 cruise passengers who are arriving in Palma over the course of this weekend. And I'm filming this on the 2nd of May. And between the 2nd of May and the 3rd of May, we're expecting in around 20 to 24,000 cruise passengers. Now, I would have liked to have thought, and I did think, that cruise passengers were taken off in private coaches and on transfer buses, on excursions around the islands and on guided tours around the city, but today obviously wasn't the case. And what an absolutely horrible experience that was, because the bus, which was filled with a mixture of holidaymakers and locals going about the business, suddenly got very, very packed out, and it wasn't a great experience at all. Not only that, and this is a gripe, someone was filming that trip on behalf of the cruise. He had a professional camera, he had all the gear, and he had also a tripod as well, which he then put into his backpack, so it was sticking out the back of his backpack. That nearly took my eye out when I was trying to get off the bus. So anyway, the moral of the story is, and we're going to talk about this because we're also going to head on down to the Paseo Maritimo. We're going to check out some of the works that have been taking place down here. We're going to head in the direction of the port. I'm actually not going to get that bus home today. We're going to walk it, and you're going to come along with me. And we're going to talk about a little bit about the benefits of taking excursions and guided tours. We're going to talk about the Paseo Maritimo, what it's like down here on the waterfront, and we're going to go and check out the port and see how busy it is down there too. Anyway, let's head on down now and let's go and see what it's like today. So we have a very cloudy and murky day over here in Mallorca today. You can just see the cathedral right over to my left-hand side here, right out in the background. And also we're looking down on the very, very busy Paseo Maritimo. Just got streams of traffic coming through here today. And also we can see these works, which should have been finished quite a few months ago. We can see these are still taking place. And we've also got highs of 25 degrees. It's feeling very, very stormy here. I think it's going to rain. So I'm going to have to try and make this video a quick one. But just going back to the cruises and the cruise passengers waiting at that public bus stop. It was from the MSC cruise, because I did catch sight of some of their boarding cards as well. So I don't understand why these cruise ship passengers were waiting at a public bus stop. I mean, if you know, let me know in comments. But you can imagine with the tens of thousands of cruise ship passengers that we're getting in this summer, you can imagine the kind of impact that's going to have on the public transport system. Now, on the Mayorca Under the Sun Facebook group during the week, we did have a comment from a group member who said that the public buses wouldn't be so crowded if it wasn't for the fact that residents here were given free bus passes. But that really is not the case, because at the end of the day, so many people here don't have cars. It's becoming more increasingly difficult to actually drive over here in Mallorca. It's getting more expensive, and particularly down here, for example, down here on the Paseo Maritimo, they've got rid of thousands of parking spots too. This whole big renovation programme has meant they've eliminated much of the parking down here. So soon the only way to get down here is going to be taking the public bus. There's not enough of them. And also we're going to look out today as well, and we can see just how busy it is with cars coming down into the city, because also I think these lanes have been reduced to some extent too. Check out the traffic coming along the Paseo Maritimo this afternoon into Palma in the direction of the airport. I also suspect as well we've got a bit of a traffic jam on the Via Cintura, which is why whenever the Via Cintura in the direction of the airport does get very clogged, all the traffic then comes down here, down onto the Paseo. But anyway, let's keep walking along, because I can actually feel it's starting to rain. I just hope we don't get a thunderstorm. Okay, so I'm getting across the road here, and it has been several months actually since I've walked down on this waterfront here down in Palma. As you can see, look, all this is brand new. It's all been newly developed. They've added new palm trees down here too. Let's keep walking along. So this will be very, very nice when this is all been finished. As we see as we get nearer to the ports, the works are far from finished actually, but they are on the closing stages. But this whole Paseo, this whole walkway down here is absolutely lovely. But the actual thoroughfare, the through road here with the traffic has been reduced. They've tried to create a much wider, greener space. They've got rid of the parkings, most of the parking too. And as a result, it's actually made it quite hard for people to get around. But you can see just the queues of traffic coming down here into Palma. One thing that was correct in my video, actually my Mayorca in May video, was always leave plenty of time. If you're trying to get anywhere this summer, that really is the name of the game, because getting around just isn't a great experience. Not if you're sitting in this kind of traffic on a Friday afternoon. So we're just looking out over the port here, and then we can see an enormous, huge cruise ship. It's at the MSC. It may well be, and I can see, look, another huge cruise ship right in front of me. And sandwiched in between the two, I can see just the tops of another cruise ship as well. So that's the 3 cruise ships that we've got in today in Palma. With, and I just have to add, combined, they're carrying a total of 10,000 passengers, which in my opinion is actually quite a lot, but anyway. Okay, so why take a tour this summer? And this is the really important bit, because if everyone is piling onto the public transport, obviously it's not going to be a pleasant experience, and you're not going to be guaranteed a seat, even if you're elderly. And Admin Anne from the Facebook group can also back this up. Often it's very, very hard to get a seat, because you often find people filling the seats that are meant for elderly people and meant for disabled people or pregnant people as well. People sit on them and they won't always move, even if asked. You know, it's like they've got the seat, they're not going to move off it. So if you want to remove the stress of travelling around the island this summer, then I do recommend booking a tour. So which tours are the best tours to book? Well, I would say that, and I always recommend this, get the Palma City Sightseeing bus, because that'll take you all over the city, and it's a hop on and a hop off bus. It'll take you around to the main sites, and it'll also remove the stress of knowing where to go, because Palma, although it's quite a small city, it can be quite daunting if you're just coming here for the day. You just want to go and see the main sites, do some shopping and then head off again, and that ticket allows you to do that as well. I will drop links for these tours in the description text below, so you can find out more information about them, and they are affiliate links as well, so you will help support the channel too. And look, just looking to my right hand side here, you can see we've got the new cycle lane up and running as well, if you're biking it down the Paseo Maritimo too. But look, this traffic has pretty much ground to a standstill, and it does this from time to time. I guess it's because we have seen a red light a little bit further ahead, so hopefully it'll get moving soon, but goodness me, it's busy down here today. Do you know what? It's actually quite bright here, even though it's cloudy. It is bright, so I'm going to leave those sunglasses on. But what are the tours that are really good tours to do? Well, my next recommendation is to maybe book a tour which goes to Valldemossa, and it also goes to Soller. If you again saw my island update, you will also know that they've made a lot of the parking over in Valldemossa and also in Soller residents only parking, which is another great advantage of actually just booking a tour and going on that bus and knowing that you're going to get there. You're not driving around looking for a spot. You're not packing yourself onto a public bus either, and then you're going to have enough time to have a look around and get back onto the bus and return to wherever it is you're coming from too. So that's another really good recommendation. I might actually try and do a few tours as well on the public buses. We'll see how we go as we go through May, see how busy it is, see what it's like, because I do appreciate not everyone wants to book themselves onto a tour and have that kind of controlled trip, but I know it's going to be a much better experience for many of you. And look, just looking at the traffic on the Paseo Maritimo here, I can see we've got a shuttle bus here. I suspect this is from one of the cruise ships. Let's keep going along as well. Look, we've got another few buses up ahead too. But with the whole redevelopment of the Paseo Maritimo, they've left literally no room whatsoever for anyone breaking down. Now, I broke down here, I think it was last spring, and luckily I was able to pull into a bus stop because the old Ford Fiesta did overheat, had to get the breakdown truck out. But look, there's nowhere for anyone. There's absolutely nowhere for anyone to pull in if they're about to break down. And if that happens, if you get a couple of breakdowns here on the Paseo Maritimo, especially if your car overheats, which mine did, then this traffic is going to be absolutely horrendous. I've got to admit, some of the renovations down here haven't been very well thought out. Not just in regards to having a little bit more space down here, but also the whole getting rid of so many parking spaces. And look, there's another shuttle bus too from the MSC Splendida. Actually, it's three of them, three shuttle buses going along the Paseo Maritimo. And I did see as well at the number 4 bus stop on my bus, and this is just what I don't understand. We've got these shuttle buses going down into Palma from the cruises. I don't know why they were getting that particular bus, that number 4 bus. Maybe they were being offered a local experience. I mean, how absolutely ridiculous is that if that was the case? And also, those people waiting for the bus as well, they all had headphones on as well, so it sounded like they're being given some kind of tour in whatever language too, but I don't personally think that should have been allowed. But anyways, let's just have a quick look around here at some of the renovations that have taken place. So we can see a better view here of the 3 cruise ships that we've got in today. And we've got the MSC Splendida, as I mentioned. We've also got the Celebrity Equinox cruise, and we have also got Mein Schiff. Not quite sure which order those are in though. I think Mein Schiff is just over to my right hand side. I'm sure I saw it as I came down into Palma. And we still have this slow moving traffic. I can just see the Catalonia Mayorca hotel right in front of me, and the Horizonte as well, just to give you a very quick hotel location check. But look, we're just coming up by the side of I think it's the MSC cruises here. Let's see how far we can wander on into the port. I think that's the TUI Celebrity Equinox right in front of me, and like I said, that's the Mein Schiff. Let's keep heading through. Do you know what? It's actually quicker for me to walk, and this is why I wanted to walk today. So it's all very well and good walking this route back to Calamaio today along the Paseo Maritimo, but give it another couple of weeks. And it is 25 degrees today. Thank goodness the sun isn't out, because I don't think I could have done this walk. But imagine when it does start getting hotter, people are going to be less likely to do the walk along here as well. They're going to be packing onto the public buses. So if we think it's busy now, guess how busy it's going to be as we head on into the summer. Now, I don't want this video to sound like one big massive whinge. It isn't. It is just very frustrating for us residents living here, trying to get out and about, and you know, it's like trying to get from just a few kilometres down the road. I mean, it's just literally quicker just to walk it. But like I said, that's not going to be so easy in a few weeks' time. And we're just coming up towards the very brand new Club de Mar. They pulled down the old one, and they've completely rebuilt it. And this lies in the port area. We're edging our way much nearer to the port. So this is what I mean about allowing more time for your journey. I can see a blue and green EMT bus. It's heading towards Plaza España, but this isn't going to be arriving anytime soon. Just turning the camera around here to the slow but crawling traffic. Plaza España is another, I'd say probably about 4 kilometres away, quite possibly. Yeah, that's not going to be getting there anytime soon. Look, just getting a few views here of the new Club de Mar. How different does it look? And as you remember, just a few weeks ago as well, look, you can see the bridge which they took down. There used to be a bridge here connecting both sides of the motorway. They took it down. It hasn't quite been finished off just yet. This is work in progress. Now, I don't understand also why they took that bridge away. I don't know if they're going to have a little roundabout up here, because I don't think they've made it easier to get from the right hand side of this road here into the port. But who knows? Who knows what the plan is with that? So if you are coming into Palma on a cruise, you are going to see a little bit of a building site here. I think this is going to roll into May, possibly June as well. We can just see another coach coming out of the port area. Let's go and have a wander in actually, let's go and check it out. You can see actually we've got some arrows up here that access to cruise ships and maritime station. And it's very important you do follow the signs actually, otherwise you could end up on the building site. Let's keep walking along. So if you continue up ahead of me, you're going to reach the Port-à-Peace shopping centre. If you do want to go and check that out, if you are here on the cruise, you do need to cross the traffic lights here, but otherwise this is going to be the way back to your cruise ship. And let's just get an idea of the scale of the ships that we have in today. So we're just coming down one of the sides of the cruise ships. Not quite sure which one that is, but no, right behind it I can see the Mein Schiff. And look at the size of this cruise ship over here as well. Absolutely massive. You can see as well that they've got a bike rental place over here too, which probably isn't such a bad idea to come and rent the bikes. It'll save you sitting in traffic, particularly if you're arriving in the afternoon. The traffic does tend to be a lot worse in the afternoons over here in Palma. And look, this just gives you an idea of how long it takes to cycle to these various areas of the city. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to say is that none of this is going to affect you if you are over in the resorts this summer. If you're heading to the holiday resorts, if you're going to the pool, you're going to the beach, you're just having a normal summer holiday, none of this is going to affect you. But I wanted to give you a little bit of an idea of what it's like living here in Mayorca as well, and just me living here and just trying to go out for lunch with my friends, what my experience has been like today. And I can say it started off pretty stressful, but we did have a nice lunch. Anyway, I also don't want this video to come across as being very anti-cruise ships. What I am against is that there just seems to be no limits on anything at the moment. The amount of cruise passengers that are being accepted into Palma port, it seems to be without limits, and we can see how busy Palma city is becoming. Is this the right thing? Should this be done? I don't know. Time is going to tell, hey? Time is going to tell. But in the meantime, if you are coming here on the cruise and you want to know how to avoid some of the crowds in the old town, check out this video appearing here on YouTube. If you want to see how busy it was last September on the cloudy and the rainy day over here in Palma, check out this video too. Okay everyone, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget you can find me in the Facebook group and on my Instagram, also called Mayorca Under the Sun, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Goodbye for now.